Get the rich, bold flavor only found in the original donut shop called
Isaiah 26 and verse 20. Come, my people, enter down into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. Call Halayim La, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, that we will, peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. All right, as you just saw in the clips before, in GTA 5, they have UFOs, okay? Now, we know who runs the media, all right? That's the wicked elites, Amalek, okay? So-called Jewish people, the Israelis, you know? They bought out all the primetime media outlets, man, okay? So they know what video games are being pushed. They know what movies are being pushed. They know what TV shows are being pushed. And they're pushing their agenda behind it, man. But what they also do is, they do this. Psalms 64. Starting at verse 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Right, man. So they make their tongues to fall upon themselves, man. They also expose truth. Okay? And this Psalm 64 is talking about the elites, man. All right? The secret counsel of the wicked. Okay? Because that's how they get down, in secrecy. You know? Nevertheless, all right, they make their tongues fall upon themselves. And they also throw truth in their media, in their commercials. You know? But we call it taking the meat and spitting out the bones, man. You know, sometimes Esau, he'll give you some meat, you know, but he also throws it in with the majority of bones. How Esau does, he does 60% lies, 40% truth, man. That's how this devil gets down, all right? So from that video right there, it goes to show you Esau has an idea of how the chariots get down, man, okay? And he throws it in his video games, man, you know? Nevertheless, going back to Isaiah 26 and verse 20. Isaiah 26 and 20 says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Now, what are the chambers of the Lord? The chambers of the Lord are the so-called UFOs, man, which are known as the chariots of Israel in the scriptures, man. All right, let's get that real quick. Psalms 103 and verse 3. It's like it. Psalms 104 and 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who maketh the wings, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. That's right, man. Okay, so it says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, man. All right. Now, what do the waters represent? The waters represent the heavens, man. Okay. It says, who maketh the clouds his chariot. A chariot is a vehicle. And the chariots, they can take on the form of a cloud, but they can also take on the form of a pillar of fire, man. Okay. And it says, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. All right. So those chambers in Isaiah 26 and 20 represent the chariots. All right. I'm going to finish off on that scripture. Isaiah 26 and 20 says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. That's right. So when the missiles are dropping off, the elect, okay, Lord, when we be of that number, we're going to be in those chariots, man, okay? Watching America be destroyed, you know, watching the fire of America, the smoke of America reach up to the heavens, man, you know? And we're going to be hiding in the chariots, man, because we can't be down there at ground zero when those missiles are going off, man. Because the whole earth really is going to be going through turmoil at that last seventh trump, man. And that seventh trump represents total destruction, all right, which includes those missiles. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting at verse 21. It says, then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds as from a well-drawn bow shall they fly to the mark. all right? Or it might either be fly or flee, okay? To the mark, man, all right? Now, what is that talking about? That's talking about laser beams coming out of the chariots, man, okay? And we know that that's true because the Lord, he wrote the 10 Commandments on the two tables of stone for Moses from the laser beams from the chariots, man, okay? Let me read on verse 22, though, and I'm going to get back to verse 21. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Okay? Yeah, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. And this is going into the missiles, man. Okay, those hailstones represent the missiles. Let's go ahead and prove that. Revelation chapter 16, starting at verse 19. It says, actually, I'll start at verse 18. Revelation 16 to 18. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. That's right, that's going to be the earthquake that will shake the earth when those missiles drop. Verse 19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and in the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came into remembrance before Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. All right? And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed the Most High because the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Right, so you're going to have assholes who are going to be trying to curse out the Lord because of those missiles, man. You know, groanishing in anguish in spirit, man. All right? Nevertheless, like I said, those hailstones represent the missiles, but going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 21, it says, Then shall the right-ending thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds as from a well-drawn bow, and they shall fly to the mark. All right? Or flee to the mark. Okay? Those are the laser beams that come out of the chariots. Now, like I said, the Lord, he wrote the law, statutes, and commandments out of the laser beams, man. Okay? Let's get this real quick. Deuteronomy 33 and going to verse 2. And he said, The Lord Yahweh came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran. How did the Lord shine? In the chariot, man. Okay? It says, and he came with 10,000s of his saints. Right. All right. He came with those angels, man. And Israel. All right. It says, from his right hand went a fiery law for them. It says, from his right hand went a fiery law. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get this precept. This is Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, going to the 4th verse. Okay. Habakkuk 3 and verse 3. Okay. It says, the Most High came from Teman, which is Seir. All right. Teman is in Mount Seir. All right. Teman is an Edomite territory. It says, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Okay. It says, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. All right. Those horns mean lasers, man. Because when you go into the Hebrew word for horns, it's Quran, okay? And it means bright beams, okay? Bright beams, all right? Quran, that's the Hebrew word for it, all right? Quran, all right? So there we go, man. Revelation 1 and 7, it says, behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, Amen. That's right, man. All right, and that's talking about our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right, he's coming back with the clouds. And those clouds represent the so-called UFOs, all right, which are the chariots of Israel, okay? And they're going to come and play 2 different roles. They're going to be a curse to the wicked and those who follow after the wicked. And they're going to be salvation to the righteous, all right? So it says it right there. He's coming with the clouds, all right? And that represents the chariots, man. And that's why people have been having dreams about the Lord coming back and they're crying, man. They're not happy, okay? The only ones that are going to be happy at his appearing is the elect, man. All right, now let's go ahead and prove that they won't be happy when the Lord comes back, man. All right, because he's coming back to slay. Yahushua said, think not I am come to send peace on earth, I have come to bring a sword. And then Yahushua also said, I come to bring fire upon earth. What if it already be kindled, man? All right, because there's going to be a lot of turmoil before our Lord comes back, man. But when our Lord comes back, that's when all hell is really, really going to break loose, man. Okay? Luke 21, starting at verse 26. Actually, I'll start at verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and waves roaring. And that's what we have, man. Okay? That's what we have, man. All right? We've seen solar eclipse. We've seen lunar eclipse, man. All right? We've seen all of these types of stuff, man. The distress of nations, we see that going on right now. Argentina, you know, Lebanon, okay, Turkey, you know, we're seeing it all over the world, man. And soon it's going to come to Babylon, all right, America. Verse 26, it says, men's hearts failing them for fear. All right, so you're going to have people out here busting down having heart attacks, man, because of the sights that they're going to see. All right, like Leviathan, he's going to be a very, very fearful sight for you people, man. All right. You know, he's even going to probably be a fearful sight for the elect, you know, but the Lord said the beasts of the field shall be in league with thee, you know. It says, and for looking after those things, that's in Job, the 5th chapter, by the way, around the 18th verse. It says, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. That's right. From what? The missiles. Okay. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. It says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. That's right, man. Okay. So men's heart are going to be failing them for when they see Yahushua coming in those clouds as well, which is known as the so-called UFOs, man. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get some scriptures on that. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse 1, but I'm going to skip around. 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. That's right, man. Okay? So Yahushua, when it says that he waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, that's talking about the angels, man. Okay? Because they're going to be coming in like troops, man. All right, like scripture say in Isaiah, I think it's 31 and 5, as birds flying, so shall the Lord Yahweh of hosts defend Israel, or Jerusalem, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, it says, verse 4, and when it said all things trembled that were seen under him, that's the kindreds and nations wailing because they see Yahushua. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. That's going into the laser beams that come out of the chariots, man. Okay? That's what that's going into. All right? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now this is going into Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay? It's verse 7, where it tells you how there was a war in heaven. Revelation 12 and 7. All right. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Okay. Now this is talking about Esau, so-called white man, all right, fighting against the Lord. But not just Esau is going to fight against the Lord. All these nations that have space forces and stuff like that. All right. It says, and first and foremost, because you have people who are unlearned, which is fine, okay? It's fine to be unlearned, but but once you learn, all right, don't be hard-headed, man. We're all learning. You know what I'm saying? But you have to realize, okay, this isn't talking about Satan, spiritual demon Satan, fighting against the Lord, man. Okay, all right, that's not what that's talking about. Because when you read in Job, the 1st chapter, it tells you how there was a day when the sons of God appeared before the Most High, and Satan was there with them, man. Okay? And the Lord made a bet with Satan. All right? So Satan and the Lord, the Most High, and Yahushua, they're in cahoots, man. Okay? As a matter of fact, just to prove that this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan, all right? Because Satan does not buck up against the Lord. None of the angels do, man. None of the angels buck up against the Lord. This is 2 Ezra 8 and verse 21. It says, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the host of angels stand with trembling. That's right, the angels stand with trembling before the Lord, man. Okay? And you can also read about that in James 2 and 19. It says, the devils fear and believe, man. Satan would be considered a devil. All right? So the angels don't buck up against the Lord, man. All right? You know, and that's real vexing, but that's a whole different topic, man. You know? And it just goes to show you what type of power would the Most High be for his own creation to try to fight against him, you know? But you know how it is, man. You know how it is. All right? But the Lord controls everything. Matter of fact, let me prove that real quick, okay? Because, you know, that's the spirit, man. The spirit be, you know, you have a lesson set up, but the spirit tells you, nah, grab that, you know? So, all praise Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 18 and 21, it says, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will, for he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. Okay, it says all things obey his will. Not all things except spiritual demon Satan and the 1/3 of angels that fell out of heaven, you know, that dogma, okay, because that's all bullshit, man, you know, that's all BS, okay. It says all things obey his will. All right, so now you have to realize this is parabolic. When it talks about the dragon is that fourth beast, man. And who is that fourth beast? In the ancient world, the Roman Empire. But who was the Roman Empire reincarnated? That head wounded and that was healed? That's the NATO and the EU, okay? The NATO is the 7 heads, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the EU is the 10 horns, man, okay? It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Okay? It says, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. That's right. Why? Because they're going to be cast down, as we will read in 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter. All right? Let's go ahead and get that again. All right? 2 Ezra 13, going to verse 3, it says, and I beheld and lo, it's like I'll go around to verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That great mountain is representing that chariot, man. It's going to be so big that it's going to cover the sky. All right? It says, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. So Ezra couldn't see where the chariot was cut out, man. All right? The chariot was so big that he likened it into a mountain, and he said he could not see where it was cut out, you know? So he didn't see where it started or where it began, because it's going to cover the face of the entire sky, man. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. That's Revelation 12 and 7 for you. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lift up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's going into the chariots, man. Okay? That's going into the chariots. And in Revelation, the 19th chapter, starting at verse 11, it says that the Lord, in righteousness, he do a judge and make war, man. Okay, let me get that scripture, man. All right, might as well, you know, might as well, right? Okay. Revelation 19, starting at verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. Who is that white horse? That's Yahweh Shai. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. That's Yahweh Shai. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. That's right. Okay, and what happens when you make war in righteousness? All right, the Lord delivers your enemies up to you, man. Okay? Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Why? Because he's coming back to slay. Okay, and he's coming back to have dominion over the kings, man. Okay, it tells that in Psalms 110 in verse 5. All right, how that the Lord is going to strike through the heads of many kings, man. Okay, because the Most High is going to give his son dominion over all things, man. All right, the only thing Yahushua won't have dominion over is the Most High himself. Okay, Psalms 110 and 5, it says, the Lord at thy right hand, that's Yahushua. Yahushua is the one who sits at the Most High's right hand. Okay, it says, shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Okay, there you go, man. All right, that's the point on that right there. Going back to Revelation 19, it says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. Okay, and Yahushua is known as the Word. You can read about that in John 1 and 1. All right. All right, so when it says his vesture dipped in blood, that's symbolic for him coming back to do a lot of death, man, and destruction, okay? And we're in the elect, Lord willing, we be of that number, we're going to have our hand in that as well, all right? Because we're joint heirs with Yahushua. And the armies which were in heaven followed upon him, white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, okay? That's the angels coming in those UFOs. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the almighty power. That's right, man. Okay, that's the point on that right there. All right. Going back to 2 Ezra 13. And verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor in any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of breath, it's like a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks of tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of breath, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. Skipping down to verse 25, 2 Ezra 13 and 25, it says, this is the meaning of the visitation, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. This is the same as he whom the Most High, the highest, hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature. He shall order them that are left behind. That's talking about Yahushua. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. That's right. They're going to be astonished when they see Yahushua, man. All right? Because like it tells you in Isaiah, I believe that's verse 54, if I'm not mistaken. Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52 and 15. So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them. Right, what's been told to them? A so-called white Jesus, okay? But they're going to see a so-called black man, all right, coming back as an angelic, God-like power, man, all right? Coming to destroy, man. Not to give hugs and kisses and lollipops and rainbows, man, but to bring fire and destruction and salvation to the righteous, and death and destruction to the wicked. Which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. They're going to see Yahushua's true image. Okay? That's what they're going to see, man. 2 Ezra 13. And verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, and one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. That's right. All right. And we're coming into those times right now, man. All right. Those race wars, martial law, okay, World War III, you know, all that, man. Okay, and then you're gonna have the point with the war in heaven, which goes with that one realm against another, because you're gonna have the spiritual angels, Yahweh Shai, the elect, fighting against carnal people, man. All right, battling, literally, just like how you seen those Iranian soldiers shooting at the chariot and didn't touch it, man. All right, verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. That's Yahweh Shai. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle. They have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion. And that's talking about Yahweh Shai is going to lead the elect, okay? Because Zion, all right, represents Israel, okay? And that's New Jerusalem coming out of heaven, according to Revelation 21:2. And Zion shall come and shall be shewed to all men, like being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. That's right, man. All right, so that's the point right there, man, okay? Isaiah 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebukes with flames of fire. So just like how you seen in the video, you saw the chariot shooting out those laser beams, you know, and abducting the cars, man. That's how it's gonna be, man. Okay. And brothers, a brother told me that, you know, brothers have had dreams where they seen the chariots melting people, man. You know, and that's exactly how it's gonna be, man. Them chariots are going to shoot beams out, man. All right, to render the Lord's anger and fury, along with those missiles, along with the 144,000. All right. And along with Leviathan, man. So Esau, you're perplexed on every side, man. Okay? And there's also going to be earthquakes, a great earthquake making the whole earth shake, you know? And what comes with earthquakes, man? Tsunamis, man, you know? Verse 16, it says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be many. That's right. The slain of the Lord shall be many, man. The scripture saying in Jeremiah the 25th chapter that there shall be dead bodies. Here it is, right here. Jeremiah 25 and 33. It says there's going to be from one end of the earth to the other dead bodies all over the place like dung, man. Okay? And when we round up you elites, okay, you elites are going, and the rest of you heathen that we round up, Lord willing, we be of the elect. You guys are going to be cleaning up those dead bodies, man. All right? Verse 17, it says, they that sanctify, and he tells you that in Ezekiel, the 39th chapter. Verse 17, it says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord Yahweh. That's right, man. So if you're eating abominable foods, okay, the Lord will destroy you for that, man. All right? The Lord will destroy you for that. And these are precepts right here. Leviticus 20 and 25, Jeremiah 16 and 18, and Isaiah 65 and 4 to prove that. 5 and 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, behold, a flying roll. Okay, that flying roll represents those chariots, man. And as you saw in the video, the chariot was way bigger than Franklin, man. And guess what? There's chariots even bigger than that, okay? And why? Because the chariots, they're going to beam up the elect, man, all right? And the elect, even though they're going to be a small number compared to the rest of the world that's going to die, it's still going to be a decent amount of people getting beamed up, man. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Verse 2, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. That's right. And Yahweh Shai, he's coming in a chariot so big, all right, that it's going to cover the face of the sky, man, okay? Verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. And that's going into Esau, man, okay? And I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. The house of the thief represents Esau, man, okay? That's why you've been seeing a lot more UFO sightings here in America, okay? It says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Right. That's exactly what they do, man. They try to seem like they're all about the scriptures and all about the Bible. All right. But really, they're swearing falsely by the Lord's name, man. Calling themselves Christians, calling themselves Jews, man. You know, they want to be Jake so bad, man. But can you really blame them? You know, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right. And that's also how the chariots are going to be shooting beams on America as well, along with those missiles, man. All right. Close out with this right here. This goes to show you that the Lord is going to be coming back to save his elect in those UFOs, man. Abduction mode, you know, like you've seen in the video. 1 Thessalonians 4:16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High. Okay, what's that shout? The Lord is going to basically tell his elect, come up hither, you know. That's what that's talking about, okay? It says, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. That's right. The dead in the Lord are going to be the ones who get the first ones to get those glorified bodies. So brothers who die on this side in the faith, you're going to be the first ones in those chariots. And then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, which are the chariots, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. That's right. So Lord willing, those words were comforting, man. So with that, I want to say Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahushai, Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahushai. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. They rule well. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. Shalom.